Welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the steps required to convert a locker into a standalone locker with a keypad. Stay tuned. The first thing you will need to do is make sure your locker is not plugged in so that there's no risk of electrical shock, and then remove the channel on the left side using the key so that it resembles what you see here. Now, with the channel cover removed, locate the manual door latch on the inside. I tend to use the second door in the center column for my control panel. Simply open it by lifting up on the lever. Also, you will need to open up the door to the left of it so that you can remove the second door latch. And then we will need to remove these screws to release the pin that holds the door on. There's one screw located in the front of the door latch, in the channel, and then two screws on the rear. We will need to remove this door latch to make room for the control door and to make room for the wiring harness that will run through this channel to the top of the control board. With the door open, locate the two Phillips screws in the back of the door latch. Unscrew them while holding the nuts on the other end of the screw and the opposite door. Moving the harness aside in the channel, locate the screw just below the door latch and remove. The latch will now be free. Now that your latch is ready to be removed, locate the wire harness and locate the clip for this door latch. Simply press the top of the clip and separate the plugs. Your latch is now ready to be removed. With the latch removed, reinstall the two screws into the latch on the other side to secure it. Now that the latch is removed, we are ready to remove the original door. Locate this screw here, the retainer, and the pin. With the screw removed from the retainer, simply remove the retainer from the pin and remove the pin, releasing the door. We will now be installing the door clip and pin into the standalone control door. First, we will need to remove the control board, as we need to make a little bit of space for our fingers. To complete this, simply remove the four screws in each corner. You may find it easier to rather only remove 3 screws and simply rotate the board to the side. We will be inserting the pin into the clip and then through into the hole. This is how the door is secured to the locker. Before we can install the pin, we need to install the pin retainer from the original door. This will line up with these top 2 holes and the screws used to retain it in the original door. Simply remove it and reinstall it onto your control door. Now that the pin is installed and protruding through the top of the door, we know that everything is lined up. We are now able to reinstall this into the locker. At this point, be sure to reinstall the corner screws on the control board so that it's secured. One trick that you may find useful is being sure that you do not over tighten these screws so that the pin inside is able to move freely. Once you get the pin inserted into the door above, you can tighten these 2 screws down and reinstall the pin retainer. Now that the control board is successfully installed, we will remove the keys from the latch to verify that it will lock correctly. In some cases, the latch may need to be bent outward to allow clearance of the door jamb. This surface here is what the latch is trying to connect to. Once this is complete, we will move on to the wiring. This is how the control door should look when it is closed, and it should latch securely yet easily. Let's move on to the wiring. Using a ladder, gain access to the top of the locker. you will find 6 screws located across the front and exactly opposite along the back of the cover. Remove these screws to obtain access to the locker control board. The 3 items we will be working with now are the locker communication cable, also known as a V3 cable, the power cable, and the pigtail. The first piece we will be working with is the power cable. We will locate the larger end, noticing the clips on this end, referencing the clips on this port right here. Take this, connect it to the control board. This provides the power from the locker control board to the standalone control board. We will then take this small portion of the power cable and fish it down through the harness, through the channel, and into the doorway located in the jamb. With the harness going through the door jamb or the channel, we will push the harness aside to reveal the hole where the original door latch went through, and we will push this small end through. Now that the power cable has been pushed through the hole, we will again notice the teeth on the plug and reference the lower left hand corner of the control board is a white plug, and we will make the teeth lock into the retainer. We will now move on to the communication cable. Our locker communication cable has 2 ends, a Cat5 connector or a network cable end, and also an 8-port serial connector. We will first be working with the network connection end. From the inside of the locker, using the same hole as the power cable, run the Cat5 cable up through the jamb and out the top. With your harness successfully put through the channel, locate the appropriate plug on the end of the board and connect your Cat5 cable. While we're here, we are going to verify that our dip switches are in the correct position. We need this to be machine number 1, so we need number 1 on, 2, 3, 4, and 5 turned off. So in this case, number 2 is turned on. We will press it down to turn it off. We will make sure that all switches are down and press number 1 to the top. We will now connect the communication cable to the pigtail and then to the control board. With the locker communication cable connected to the pigtail, we will now plug it into port D on the control board. On the control board, locate the 2 black ports that look identical. The one on the left will be port D as in David. The one on the right will be port F as in Frank. Port E is your top left, and you will notice this later in the video. Simply connect our pigtail into port D. With our locker communication cable connected, the power connected, we are now ready to do a little housekeeping. We will bundle the wiring and zip it together with zip ties, and then we will be ready to power on the locker. As you plug in the locker, the lights on the locker should come on, and the board will turn on and make a series of beeps. Simply open the locker door, locate the button just above the red light, which is called the service mode button. Press the service mode button. Access the keypad. We will now be configuring the controls. We'll say restock options, press pound to hardware, press pound to configuration, press 0. Press 0 on machine 1. Motor range 10 to 69 is good, press pound. Motor rows 1 to 6 is good, press pound. Motor mode, we need to press 0 until it says solenoid locker. Press pound. Optic sensor, we need to hit 0 and say none. Auto reinstatement, turn it to enabled. Press 8 and 8 again to configuration. Press star to hardware and press 0. We are now going to go into the expansion port definitions. This is where we modify ports D, E, and F. Press 0 to C, press pound. Port D, we need to hit 0 until it says solenoid locker. Press pound. E is card reader, which is correct. Press pound to F and change it to cellular modem. From cellular modem, press 8 back to expansion port definition. We will then press star and star to motor count and press 0. We will count the motors, and this can take up to a minute.